The shaman to the stars, Shaman Durek, began his spiritual and shamanic studies at age 12, and he's here and has helped bring success, happiness, and healing to so many people. And now it's our turn to experience his very special gifts. Welcome back. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you.
So you did have an incredible experience. You actually had, I think it was at age 30, you had some kind of illness and you died.
I did.
And here you are, so tell us about that.
You know, I knew I was going to die. Years prior, I learned from a Lakota Indian, a gypsy told me. So, I mean, I was very aware that it was going to happen. And I even knew what time frame, because I actually told my family, you know, I'm going to be, you know, dead within this time frame, and they thought it was crazy, because they didn't want to accept it. But then I did die, and I died because I had hypertension in my blood pressure, where your blood pressure is too high and it blows out your kidneys. So my kidneys gave out. And I died of potassium overload at 10.6 potassium, which is really high.
Really high.
But the experience of death, and you know, people always ask me this question: what was it like? It wasn't a wonderful experience in the beginning when you're dying.
Sure.
Because you're at that point where I already knew it was going to happen, and then I had suffocated to death when I died, so I couldn't speak, and I was convulsing in the most.
And that's painful.
Yes.
Right.
And then I had, on top of that, I was screaming in my head, I changed my mind. And
too late.
It's too late, you know, and this beautiful being was there. She was guiding me through the whole process. And then I finally surrendered. She kept saying, let go, let go. You know, the more if you keep fighting, it's going to hurt, let go. And finally I did let go. And then it became this amazing experience.
So were you and I spoke, you were having tea with your grandmother, is that correct?
Well, actually the first thing that happens is I saw my family members, who had already moved on. And then I went into this kind of liquid pool, like an ocean of like black iridescent colors. And all of a sudden I ended up into this bright light, which actually showed me my whole life of everything that I did.
Past and present and future and beyond and
everything was shown to me. And it was literally my will that made a decision where I went from there. It wasn't like God was saying, okay, well, based on what you did, you go here.
So you had a choice. They gave you were given a choice, and you chose to come back. Thank you very much, because you came back to do work, very important work.
Yes, and on the other side, it was amazing. I got to see family and friends. I got to learn about things about what's happening here on Earth and why things happen. And it gave me more insight into the life of people.
So is there an insight that you learned that you want to share with us today?
Absolutely. One of the main insights that I learned on the other side was that the reason why we suffer as human beings is because of malfunction in thinking. It's because our mind is trying to think outside of what our spirit already knows. And when our mind thinks in ways that are incorrect, the emotions connects to it and creates it in our world.
So our mind is thinking small and thinking very individual versus very collective and very immense and very all that is kind of thinking.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, I think I heard you.
Yes.
You have worked with A-listers, with stars. What was that like? What was their response to you?
You know, the thing is, when you're dealing with celebrities, it's always the same. They've created this shield around them because of the way the world sees them, which is very not who they are.
Right.
And they don't know if they can trust you at first.
So you have to break through that, right?
My breakthrough is simply just accepting and loving them the way they are. And when they get that immediately when they sit down with me. And we do such amazing things together, you know? It's like I get to be a kid with them, we get to laugh, we jump, we play, it's like giving them this space where no one's judging them.
So it's a place where they feel free enough to open up and be their authentic self.
Yes.
And you do a lot of work with authenticity. What does it mean for us to be more authentic, and how do we do it? In like 10 seconds, no, I'm joking.
Yeah, no, I can give it to you very quickly. Authenticity is the most easiest thing. It's very simple. If you feel that you have to change yourself to make someone happy, you're not being authentic. If you feel in a relationship that you have to change the other person, it's not an authentic relationship. If you go to your job and you're thinking, wow, I really, looking at the clock, I want to get out of here, you're not the authentic job. You're not at the place that is really right for you. Authenticity is honoring your truth. You know, and if you look at every religion, every philosophy, every spiritual belief, it's always to thy own self be true, to know thyself, to honor thyself, to love thyself, to seek within thyself. It's all there. And when you take on that level of understanding, you understand the truth of authenticity.
So it's really about being comfortable with who you are and whatever experience that is. And if there's a disconnect, then it's not authentic.
Yes,
right?
because you're not living your truth.
Right. Now, you were talking about all the different religions. You studied Sufism, you studied, well, obviously shamanism, you studied Christianity, you studied Hinduism. Aside from what you just said, the authenticity, what else is a unifying force of all the religions in the world?
So shamanism isn't a religion.
Quickly.
But so let me just,
Please.
but I understand. And what the unifying energy between all of them is that they all want to experience love. And love is at the core of all things. And honestly, no matter what religion it is, no matter what philosophy, and this is how shamans think, we will study anything, but if we hear a feeling or word that comes and we don't feel love, we push that aside, and we only take in that which is love, because that's what we're here to be.
And guess what? You exude love, and you are love, and I feel very loved right now. Thank you so much, Shaman Durek.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
When we come back, I'll introduce you to one man who's taken his day-to-day life with Tourette's to the big screen, his amazing story of determination and inspiration when we return.